Namaste and welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to be diving deep into this fascinating world of the astrology, and we are going to discuss about the topic Mahadasha predictions using Nakshatra. And guess what? Today we have a very special guest, a renowned astrologer and a Jyotishi from UK, and her name is Anhita Rao. So let's start this video and let's understand this unique technique, a technique which is yet to be discovered more in the world of astrology. And let's discuss this from the expert Anhita Raoji to discuss about how can this powerful tool can help us get some more insight in our life from the lenses of nakshatra. So before we start, give a thumbs up to this video and we will really look forward for your comments or any questions you have during this when you're watching this video. Any questions, please comment below and let us know, and we will be very happy to help you with the answers for that. So let's start this cosmic exploration of nakshatras in this video today. Thank you. All right. So, hey everyone, hope you guys are doing good. So today we have a very special guest on our channel, and we are going to discuss very interesting topics. So I would like to present Anahita Rao ji, a very renowned astrologer from UK. And the topic of discussion for today is going to be Mahadasha predictions using Mahadasha with some special nakshatra and predictions based on Mahadasha and nakshatra. So it's going to be a very interesting topic. Anahita ji has a great experience knowledge in Jyotisha, in Vedic astrology, and I'm going to put the link in my description for her channel. You can watch some of her videos are very interesting and very dedicatedly worked in the field of Jyotisha, astrology, giving light to the world. So here we are. Thank you so much, Anahita, for joining our channel today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great.
It's nice to be here and it's nice to see you again, Gautam. All right, so today I've actually prepared for us a presentation. In fact, it's a presentation that I've done in the past at a conference. So I'm gonna share my screen so we can all follow along here. And of course, if you have questions, if you have comments, please feel free to post them so we can address them.
Absolutely. This is a very unique method of using Mahadasha in our charts. And this, I'm sure, it will help every one of us because we have to be always be open, flexible to new ideas, new techniques in astrology. There are many different types of Mahadasha, as we all know. So this one is coming in directly from the expert. So this is going to be very special. So we all are excited to learn this video, this technique in this video. So watch this video till the end. And any questions, anything, I will always be waiting for your comment below, please.
Okay, all right, thanks, Gautam. Let's get started then.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm gonna share my screen. Here we go.
Wow. Fantastic.
So please, like, anytime you want to ask me something, um, if there's a query or if there's some clarification, just jump in, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Um, But this is I'll tell you something. I use this with charts all the time, this technique, and it works so brilliantly. And you can get the like idea of what to expect in a dasha, just the overall themes, right? Like very, very quickly and at your fingertips. Um, so now I actually gave this as a presentation for an astrology conference in San Francisco in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And I first learned about this topic in a book called Insights in Nadis, which was published by Saptarishi Publications. I think
Mm-hmm.
Saptarishi I think they're based in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and basically it's the work of a very famous astrologer who has now passed away. His name was A.V. Sundaram. And I know that there are very like, I know that there are some renowned astrologers that also use this technique because I've heard it in a couple of channels. But this is something that I've been using for many years in with charts, and I found it's worked brilliantly. So let's, with that introduction, let's get into this. Okay, so this is how you do it. You take any Mahadasha and you divide it into three parts,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, for example, Rahu Mahadasha for everybody, right? Doesn't matter where Rahu is sitting in your chart. Rahu Mahadasha for everybody is going to be 18 years long. So we divide it into three phases. And if we divide it into three phases for 18 years, each phase is going to be 6 years each, right? That's an easy kind of mathematical cut there.
Right.
6 plus 6 plus 6. First phase, we say it's connected to your past. Second phase, we say it's connected to your present. Third phase, three Janma is connected to your future. Now, why do we divide it into three? That's the most important thing to understand. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's because every single planet is connected to three nakshatras.
Oh.
You see? So when we're analyzing a Mahadasha for anybody, we're looking at where is the nakshatra of that planet? Where has it gone in the chart? Where's it landing up? What houses? Are there any
Mm-hmm.
planets there? Right? So you're going through Rahu Dasha, and we look at your chart to see where's Ardra falling? Where's Shatabisha falling? Right?
Right.
Where's Swati? Um, so you take and I'm actually going to use two examples for us to like clearly just to demonstrate this technique, right? So here I'm just giving you kind of like a step-by-step analysis. So you
Fantastic.
take the Mahadasha you want to analyze. As I said, it could be any, it could be, usually I look at the Mahadasha that you're currently going through, right? Because that makes sense to sort of see. Yeah.
And I also think that why A.V. Sundaram sir thought of dividing into three would be because, as you have rightly said, we have three tenses: past, present, and future.
Yeah.
It's related to prarabdha karma, sanchita karma,
Right.
and the future karma. So
Right.
somehow, just I feel it's like might have been divided into three because of past, look into the past, look into the present, and look into the future. Three dasa.
Right. And what we say is that the people that you meet in that first phase of that Mahadasha are people from your past, like a past
Oh,
life or a past connection, some connection from the past, right? It could be.
interesting.
The one in the present is the present. They're going to help you in your life somehow in your present, in that
Hmm.
present phase. And then the future are people you're going to meet in the future. It could be in a future life. It could just be in a future dasha that you meet them again. They come
Hmm.
along at the end of the dasha, but then you meet them again in the future. So
Right.
first, you take the Mahadasha you want to analyze. Find the first nakshatra of this planet. Now the reference point that works really well is the moon. So you put the moon on top, and then you analyze the dasha. Why do we take the moon? Because we're talking about Vimshotri, and Vimshotri is calculated because of by the
M-
moon's position, right?
Moon's
So
nakshatra. Yeah.
yeah, it makes sense. So you analyze the results from your nakshatra placement as that new vantage point, right? So let's say you're in Rahu Dasha, Swati is getting activated. You make Libra the first house, and then you analyze the chart. And we will look at examples, so it's more clear to follow right? Then you see but not just that, not just from the moon vantage point, you can also then look at, where does that house fall from the lagna? Where does that house fall from the Dasha planet, right? To get a more kind of holistic, more comprehensive idea of what's going to happen for you. For further analysis, you check the nakshatra deities, right? Like, for example, Bharani, the ruling deity is Yama. So if Bharani is getting activated at that phase, well, you could suffer through some loss, like there could be some destruction of something, right? Something could disappear from your life, something could get transformed, an ending and then a beginning, right? So the deity of that nakshatra is going to give us some ideas about how will your life carry on in that phase. Will it be easy? If it's a gentle nakshatra, maybe things will go easier than if it's a very sort of like a fierce nakshatra. So you see the characteristics of that nakshatra, what themes, activities are dominant during that phase. And then you repeat the analysis for the second nakshatra, the third nakshatra, right? And then you can also go deeper one level, and you can see the antardasha you're going through and do the same analysis, right?
Right.
Um, so additional points to consider, right? Okay, so here's one, just a note. So there are certain planets where the nakshatras are falling in more than one houses, right? For Jupiter, for Sun, for Mars, right? So you would look at it from both houses. For example, your Leo Lagna, and you're in the Mahadasha of the Sun. The Sun's nakshatra will occur for you in your ninth and 10th house, right? Because the Sun's nakshatra falls in Aries and in Taurus. In Kritika,
Right.
Kritika
Ritik.
starts at the end of Aries and goes into Taurus. So you have to see
Yeah.
ninth and 10th houses are getting activated, right? So at that phase, when that is getting activated, you could start a new job. You could be in school learning a new subject. Now, the other important thing is, if there are planets sitting in those nakshatras that are activated, the results, of course, will be colored by that planet. This is very important because, anytime yes, we have a Rashi that we're analyzing, but anytime there is a planet sitting in that nakshatra, that is going to be override anything that the Rashi tells us, right? Venus is sitting there. Yeah, well, I mean, that could mean marriage, right? That could mean and like some kind of luxury items coming into your life. That could mean procreation. It could mean, and all of the Venus related, you could be buying a new car, whatever it is, all of the Venus related significations. Yes.
Yeah.
Money, right? Money is a Venus related signification. Okay, so let's get into this
Wow.
now deeper. We're going to analyze charts. We're going to look at two example charts. Okay,
Fantastic.
first chart I have looked at is Amitabh Bachchan, and I mean, even if you've lived in India, even if you've not lived in India, you may have heard of Amitabh Bachchan, right? Because he's so.
Absolutely. Everyone has heard. We have seen his chart. His chart is always very mesmerizing to see because
Mm,
there are like maximum planets in his eighth house. So this is going to be interesting, guys.
yeah, yeah, and here's the thing, though. What I will say, as you can see right there, time of birth 4 o'clock. There is some dispute about the time of birth. The astrologers don't necessarily agree on his time of birth, and it isn't an A rating. But nonetheless, for our purposes, this analysis will work. And by the way, and this actually brings me to another point, is that even if you don't know somebody's exact time of birth, this technique can still work really well because you're using the moon to analyze,
Right.
right?
Fantastic. Yeah,
And
this
you're
is helpful for everyone then.
yeah, yeah. And not just that, not just you're using the moon as a vantage point. Remember, you're looking at the nakshatras of the planet of the planetary dasha, right? The like Saturn is Anuradha, for example.
Hmm.
Saturn controls Anuradha. So you don't have to be so dependent on the time of birth for this analysis because you can still gauge a lot of information even if you don't have the exact time of birth. And we will demonstrate how that can happen. So
Yeah.
here we have a lagna with this time of birth. We have the lagna of Aquarius. All right. And if we look at his moon chart, which we put the moon on top, and his moon is in Libra. All right,
Right.
in his ninth house. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to analyze when he went through the Mahadasha of Saturn, because we have all of the events from those dates, right? So we're going to look at the Mahadasha of Saturn and what happened there. Now, we can straight away tell that Saturn is a good planet for him anyway, right? From the vantage point of the moon, Saturn is a Yogaraka. From the vantage point of the Lagna, it's the Lagna Lord.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about this further. Now, his moon is in Swati. We're looking at Saturn. Saturn is 19 years long. So if we split it into three, we get 6 years and approximately 4 months,
Correct.
okay, for each phase. To analyze the first phase, you have to begin with Anuradha. Why are we beginning with Anuradha? because from his moon, that is the first Saturn nakshatra in Scorpio, right? From
Right.
Scorpio, and then we have to take Scorpio and see what's happening there. From Scorpio, you have 4 planets going into the 11th house of gains, right?
Right.
Um, so here we go. From Scorpio, look at all these planets. 11th house of gains, right?
Right.
Okay, so from the Lagna, what is Scorpio? It's the 10th house.
Right.
Okay. From the moon, what is Scorpio?
From Moon, Scorpio is second.
Second house. And
Again,
find from the Dasha planet, which is Saturn, where does Scorpio land?
seventh.
Seventh house. So now we said the first phase is going to be 6 years and 4 months. So it's approximately October 1971 till
Right.
February 1978. All right,
Right.
now let's see what happened. So we know that these houses are got activated in that first phase, 10th, 2nd, and 7th. So we want to see what events happen. Do they correspond to these houses in this first phase between 71 and 78?
Mm-hmm.
First, we look at Anuradha qualities because that is the nakshatra that is getting activated. It's a star related to success. It can produce fame and recognition, especially through collaboration, right? Anuradha has a persistent ability to blossom in the midst of difficulty. Favorable activities, relating, socializing, group activities, travel to foreign lands, financial tasks, unfavorable marriage confrontation routine, connected to Mitra, the sun god. So we know that having connections can bring you, like we said here, success through collaboration, recognition through collaboration. So that can bring success, just having connections, having friendships, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? From 1973 till 1970, those 5 years was his rise to
Wow.
star.
Yeah, these are like one of the best time of his peak.
Yeah,
I
that was
think
his.
73 to 78 was his peak,
Oh,
specifically with Sholay,
yeah.
America, Diwar, Zanjeer. Like, wow,
All of those. All of
I
those.
agree.
Those
Oh, he
are
was
his.
married in 73. Okay.
Was married in 73. Right.
Oh.
The peak started. And there is a rumor that, his wife was far more connected to the industry than he was. And so that marriage brought him, of course, it brought him the social status, but it also brought him connections, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that. Anuradha getting activated, collaboration through connections, right? Success through connections. Um, Daughter is born, son is born. So everything for him happened in this phase
Right.
from 1971 to 1978.
Wow.
So now remember what did we say? 3 houses were getting activated: the 10th, the 2nd, and the 7th,
Second, seventh.
right? Second is money and family. He had a family, right? 7th is marriage,
Marriage, he got married.
and 10th is career,
His
recognition,
work. So he was
prestige.
very busy. The 10th is like 10th house makes you very busy in your career path, the karma. So I think his major busy career peak was in his
Was
this time.
I mean, everything he established in that first phase of Saturn, like everything from 71 to 78, marriage, children, career status, money, even money, right? Like when we looked at his chart from Scorpio, all of these planets are going to the 11th house of gains.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can also analyze the chart from Scorpio itself. Do you see?
All right.
All of these, there's 2 benefics going here in the 11th house. Rahu is going into the 10th house of fame, and it's in Leo. Jupiter is going into the 9th house, it's exalted. Saturn in the 7th, giving marriage in Taurus. Do you see? Seventh
Yeah.
Lord, the seventh Lord going to the 11th house. So you can analyze a chart like that also. When you put Scorpio on top for those 7 years, you can say, okay, this is what's happening. Do you see?
Fantastic.
So all of the houses that got activated deliver their results. Second house of family, wealth, marriage. Seventh house of marriage and public image. 10th house of career and status. So then we look at the second phase from the moon. The second phase, the second place of Saturn's nakshatra, the second one is Uttara Bhadrapada, right? Which is
Hmm.
Pisces, right? So from Pisces, we have four planets going to the seventh house of public image, exalted Jupiter in the fifth house of fame, along with Rahu in the sixth, Saturn in the third. All supportive positions, right? We like Saturn in the third. We like Rahu in the sixth. We love Jupiter in the fifth,
Absolutely.
right? So even that was supportive. Now, Uttara Bhadrapada is not as benign, as gentle of a nakshatra as Anuradha. It does have strong connection with past life deeds. Good deeds done in previous births will come now as good luck.
Hmm.
Activities, research, meditation, marriage, sexual activity, financial transactions, activities requiring support from others, artistic ventures, good time to make a commitment. So this is a little bit difficult. So let's see what happened here. Now,
Yeah.
here we have. Now, his Lagna is Aquarius, as we remember, making Pisces the second house. So the second house
Hmm.
is activated, right? From the moon, however, Pisces becomes the sixth house.
Hmm.
So we know that there can be some difficulty, right? Because that's a Dushtana house getting activated.
Right.
And then the 11th house. Why the 11th house? Because from Saturn, Pisces is the 11th house, and we're looking at Saturn's Dasha. All right. So the second stage is from February 1978 till June 1984. 1978, he becomes a superstar. Films
Hmm.
include Dawn, Trishul. I mean, those were all, like, again, iconic films, right?
Yeah.
All films or box office hits, and he also won an award in this phase, right? We have 11th house again getting activated. We have 11th house again getting activated. We have second house again getting activated. Um, because from the Lagna, Pisces is second house. Yes. But more importantly, look at all the planets going into the seventh house, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's not just 10th house, but seventh house also gives us recognition and fame, right?
Hmm.
Because
Absolutely.
seventh house is outward. It's other people, how they're perceiving us,
Correct. It's
right?
more on the social level.
Yes, more on the social level, right? 7 and 11. So in 1978 to 1984 became massively popular, like a godly status. But look at what happened in 1982. If you remember, I don't know how old, if you were old enough to remember this. I mean, I certainly, I certainly am. But he
Yeah.
suffered a injury. Yeah, do you remember that? Serious
Yeah. Yeah.
injury when doing his own stunt, and he almost died. He almost died. He got shot, and I think it was Coolie. The film was Coolie, and
Exactly.
right, and he got shot, and he almost died. I think he was in a coma for a little. If I remember, he was in the hospital. Everybody was praying for him.
Hmm.
So the sixth house gave results, right? Remember, we said the sixth house gets activated because from the moon, Pisces becomes the sixth house. Uttarabhadrapada is also getting activated, which is a very difficult nakshatra.
Hmm.
So all houses, again, that I got activated deliver the results. Second house of wealth, prosperity through more fame, through more success. Sixth house of injuries. 11th house of income, gains, fulfillment of desires. Right? But look, he beat that. He beat that problem.
Yeah.
Rahu is going into the sixth house of accidents, of injuries. But we know Rahu does well there because whatever problem comes in that sixth house, Rahu will eliminate that problem.
Hmm.
So yes, he had an accident, an injury. And it was on the sets when he was making a film. So again, Rahu and Leo. But that Rahu going in from Pisces, going to the sixth, Saturn going to the third, that helped him overcome it. Jupiter's gaze on Pisces, biggest blessing, right? It's going to protect the Lagna because the Lagna becomes Pisces at that phase, at that second phase.
Yeah.
So, so now finally the third phase. So analyze the third phase, we look at Busha. Why? Because Cancer is the last, it contains the last nakshatra of Saturn if you look at it from the point of view of his moon, which is Libra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Read the chart from Cancer, and we can also read the chart from the other vantage points that like we've been doing. So from Cancer, you have 4 planets going to the third house of gains, success, and exalted Jupiter in the Lagna, along with Rahu in the second and Saturn getting in the 11th. Again, excellent positions, right?
Yeah.
Excellent positions. Um, Pusha is a much more gentler nakshatra. It's translated as a nourisher, a balanced approach to life. Important. Pusha is the most benign of all the stars, considered a favorable nakshatra also for spiritual pursuits. It's good for beginning anything, laying any kind of foundations. Music, dance, travel, purchasing or taking care of a pet, healing, nurturing activities, anything, right? Unfavorable activities that require harsh behavior. Connected to Jupiter, right? And
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter for Amitabh Bachchan is sitting in Cancer, right?
Yeah.
So here we have his chart from the vantage point of Cancer. So Venus doesn't fare very well there in the third house. It's not a great place for Venus. So the marriage could have suffered at this phase. We don't know, but the marriage could have suffered at this phase. Domestic life looks good. Comfort, he would have had all the comfort. Saturn in the Jupiter in the first, Saturn in the 11th, and Moon in the fourth. Amazing placements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now his Lagna is Aquarius. So from Aquarius, Cancer becomes the sixth house. Yes. From the
Yeah.
Moon, Cancer becomes the 10th house. And from Saturn, Cancer becomes the third house.
Third
Yes.
house.
So again, we have 3 and 6, which are not easy houses, especially the sixth one. So the third stage, let's see what happened. June 1984 till November 1990. He was diagnosed with an illness, right? Again, sixth house is getting activated, right? Sixth house is getting activated. And isn't it interesting? From the vantage point of Cancer, Jupiter becomes sixth lord sitting in the first house.
Yeah.
Plus sixth house from the Lagna is getting activated because that's Cancer. So we know, some illness, some problem can come, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not surprising. Then he also announced that he would quit films and join politics.
Yeah.
So for 3 years, he went into politics. So that there's career instability there, right? From here, if we look at it from Cancer, we've got 10th Lord going here in the third house, which is difficult. But it does mean starting new initiatives, right? Third house is the house of new initiatives. So we know that he can start something new in this space, and which is what he did. He joined politics.
Mm-hmm.
1999, 3 films released, all failed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Decline of his film career happened in this phase also. Ketu
Yeah.
eighth house, Ketu eighth house will bring that. I mean, that's not surprising. Again, 10th Lord Mars not in a good place between, conjunct Mercury there going into the third house. So there is some frustration. There's definitely some frustration here. Yeah. Um, all houses activated delivered the results. Third house of initiative and risk taking. So leaving films, going into politics. Sixth house of losses and illnesses got activated. 10th house of image also got activated because his image did tarnish. Like like he wasn't he 10th Lord in the third house. That's not great for image. That's not so great for image. Um,
And that's why he started to get bankrupt and financial losses starting this 90s phase. Because we all know from 90s phase till 2099, 2000, he was totally into a lot of bankrupt and financial issues.
yeah,
Would be because of the sixth house getting activated that time.
yeah. And all
Sixth
this
house is also the house of debts. So he was in immense debts
yes,
in the
yes,
90s.
that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. So if we look at it from the standpoint of Cancer, that's sixth
Hmm.
lord going to Lagna, right? Mars, 10th lord going into Virgo, which is not a good place for Mars. It's with Mercury. Um, Eighth house Ketu, difficult. definitely.
Yeah.
So, so that is a quick sort of like analysis of and a breakdown of a 19-year Mahadasha that you can do, just to get an idea where what can get activated in those phases. What houses are getting activated? Are there planets sitting there? Now, for him, if we look at his chart, he actually doesn't have any planets sitting in Saturn's nakshatra, right? But that doesn't mean that the houses won't give results. The houses will still give results. And if you read it from that new vantage point, I mean, you will be amazed at some things, some information that you can get. So now we do example number 2. Now, this is, of course, a very famous basketball player. I think everybody would have heard of him, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Um, and his time of birth is correct, is given A rating. So we
Wow.
know. Um, so this is also a very interesting chart, and
Mhm.
especially for a sportsman. And you can see straight away Rahu Mars conjunction, which is fantastic for somebody who's into sports. Uh,
Mhm.
so let's look at his chart and analyze the Venus Dasha. Yeah. So as you can see, he is a Gemini Lagna, and here, if we look at it from the perspective of the moon, he becomes a Scorpio, right? Gemini Lagna. Venus is a fantastic planet. It's fifth lord. So let's see what we can expect for him for Venus Dasha. So again, remember, we start from the moon to analyze to see where the nakshatras are landing up, right? Venus is nakshatra. So from the moon, where is the first nakshatra of Venus landing up? Can you spot it?
From the moon chart,
Venus nakshatras are in fire houses, right?
right. So Venus is in second house.
Yeah. And that's sitting in,
There's one in sixth, one in 10th, and one in second.
yeah, exactly. And it just so happens in that second house, Venus is sitting in its own nakshatra, Purvashad, right? So we
Right.
know that first phase is going to be pretty powerful. We can straight away tell.
Hmm.
It's going to be eventful. At the very least, it's going to be pretty eventful, right?
Right.
Um, Venus is 20 years. So each phase is 6 years, approximately 8 months, right? So to analyze the first phase, we have to begin with Purvashad. Why? Because that is the first nakshatra from the moon of Venus. Yes. Um, we can then take Sagittarius as the new Lagna. And from there, we have a strong third house of self-effort, courage, physical strength, strong Saturn in the second house, along with Rahu and Mars in the eighth house of transformation and sudden events. From Sagittarius, again, because that's where Venus lands, the first nakshatra of Venus lands up, we can see it, from the perspective of Moon, Lagna, and Dasha planet. Right? In this example, Lagna is Gemini, making Sagittarius the seventh house.
Hmm.
Second from the moon, as we just saw, because Scorpio is moon, and the first from the Dasha planet. Those matters will get activated, seventh, second, and first. Right? We also have Venus itself sitting in Purvasha to give these matters a boost, to make them even more colorful, more eventful. Right? So the first stage is from February 1987 till October 1993. We look at Purvashad qualities. Purvashad makes one feel invincible and believe that they cannot lose, right? Has capacity to inspire, energize others, but could also bring confrontation and aggression. Purvashad also has a reputation for starting battles and producing fearlessness in a person, right?
Yeah.
Favorable activities, confrontation, standing up for your beliefs, settling debts, going to war, inspiring people, sports, adventure. Marriage. So all of those are favorable in Purvashad.
Hmm.
It's connected to Apas, strong connection with element of water, right? And he's got Venus sitting there. So what happened in those years? 1987 is career rise to the top.
Yeah.
That was his career rise. That was his moment. That was like the when he became quite famous. 87 to 88 season, he led his team to victory, Chicago Bulls. Won his first league MVP award. He was
Hmm.
defensive player of the year.
Wow.
First child was born 1988. We know, like Venus is getting activated. We know that marriage and children can come, right? Venus is
Yeah.
like Purvashad is connected to water. Water is relationships, childbirth also, right? Venus is also childbirth, remember.
Yeah.
Um, 1989 to 1990 again led team to victory. And Bulls finished first place in 16 years. They hadn't done that in 16 years, and that was the first time. 89, he got married and second child was born. 1990 to 91 for won first NBA championship and second MVP award. So again, look at I mean, this is like one victory after another victory after another victory after another victory. And what is Purvashad? It's victory.
Victorious, one of the most best planet nakshatra for
Yeah.
this.
It makes one feel invincible and believe that they cannot lose. So all the houses delivered results. Second house of family had children, wealth, marriage. Seventh house of marriage, he got married, public image. And first house of identity, reputation, status, vitality. I mean, you have to be feeling very, very fit and confident to be a sports person to begin with, but to be at his level, right? Winning
Mhm.
awards and things like that. And so from there, like if we take Sagittarius, we have Jupiter going to the third house. We have Mars and Rahu going to the eighth house. Sixth Lord Venus is going to the first house.
Yeah.
Okay? But it's in Purvashad. It's gonna like it again. It's a fantastic nakshatra because it's connected to water. Apas, right? That's the deity is Apas. It's about regeneration. Even if you do fall and you hurt yourself, it will help you to regenerate. Anyway, Venus is a planet of regeneration,
Yes.
and it's sitting in Purvashad, you see? So fantastic. And for visibility, right? For visibility, first house. So that was an excellent phase for him. So then we look at the second phase. And the second phase, Bharani gets activated. Why? Because Bharani is in Aries. And from Scorpio, the second nakshatra of Venus falls in Bharani, right? If we take Bharani, we take Aries on top because Bharani lies in Aries, then we have a strong 10th containing Saturn in its own house with Mercury and Ketu, along with Jupiter and Sun in the 11th house of income and gain. So we know that this is going to be, again, another very visible, like he's going to be very visible in this phase as well.
Hmm.
Uh, Bharani, of course, is not so easy of a nakshatra, right? It's extreme in nature, exploring any direction it chooses. It can be going from one end to the other end, right? Oscillating between opposite ends. It does signify creativity, though. It's a very, very creative nakshatra. It does signify the cycle of birth and birth and death, which is why we say it's a very transformative nakshatra also. Favorable
Right.
creative activities, spontaneous, activities requiring severe action, fertility, all of those things, unfavorable business transactions, signing contracts, negotiations. Um, so all of those gentle, anything gentle. It's connected to Yama, which is god of death. So we know that something can die in this phase. Something can die in
Mm.
like a way of living for him can, be transformed into something different. Um, And then, as usual, we take, Aries and we read the chart from there as well. In this example, his lagna is Gemini, right? So that makes Aries the 11th house. It puts moon, sixth house from the moon, and then fifth house from the Dasha planet, which is Venus. Yes. So the second stage was from October 1993 till June of 2000. Abrupt retirement from basketball career. So that's again death. That's the end of something.
Yeah.
Bharani is death, right? He announced, citing the loss of desire to play. He stated that the death of his father 3 months earlier also shaped his decision.
Hmm.
So actually, a physical death was in play of his father. That's an actual physical death, but also
Yeah.
the desire of the loss of desire to place, which is like
Yeah.
a death of for him in a way,
Yeah.
right?
This motivational death of
Yeah,
how he was inspired earlier in the
yeah,
previous
completely.
nakshatra.
I mean, look at how much he accomplished in that first phase of
Yeah.
Venus, right? March 1995, he decides to return, right? 1996 to 98, he again leads the team to three championship victories. So you see Bharani extremes,
Hmm.
right? You know, give up, go some, go away, think about you, whatever, and then come back again and have three victories. He
Yeah.
set a record in 1995 to 96 victory with 72 regular season wins. In 1996, this is completely different. He founded a basketball club for children. And then by the end, he retired for the second time. So the beginning of the Bharani phase, he retired. And then at the end, he retired. Right. So that is the Bharani, what do you say, quality of that nakshatra. It's very like extreme. It's like on and off
Mhm.
energy as well. I'm gonna like this is gonna happen, then this is completely I'm completely disconnected from it, but then I reconnect and then I completely disconnect again, right?
Yeah.
And we see from here, if we put Bharani on top, we put Aries on top. From there, the fourth house doesn't look that good. It's a debilitated Mars, but retrograde, and Rahu's there. So we know that the mind is very restless. It's agitated, right? At this
Yeah.
time. Um, but 10th house looks very strong, and so does 11th house looks fantastic, right? Jupiter, Sun. So we know he's still going to be in the limelight with the Jupiter Sun sitting there from Aries. Yes. Venus sitting in the ninth house. So two benefics in good houses, right? But look at this. From Aries, fourth lord in the eighth house, and it's in Scorpio. Fourth house containing a debilitated Mars. There is a Parivartan between the two, but we know that the mind is agitated. There's a
Hmm.
restlessness. There was an anxiousness. There could have been depression, right?
Right.
Oh, you know what I mean? So all houses activated delivered results. Sixth house of competition, sports, 11th house of gains, income, fifth house of children when he started to work with children. So this is the second phase, which was Bharani for him. And then we finally look at the third phase, which is Purva Falguni. Um, and that lands in Leo, right? And so from Leo, if we take his chart, we have a strong seventh house containing Jupiter and Sun. Saturn, Mercury, and Ketu go into the sixth, and Mars, Rahu go to the 12th house of losses and isolation. Right. Purva Falguni is represented by the front legs of a bed. It's all about rest, rejuvenation, pleasure, and very appropriately retirement, right?
Hmm.
Signifies, and that's what he did. He retired at the very, very end of that second phase. It
Yeah.
signifies contentment, relaxation, recreation, renewal, favorable activities, romance, sex, marriage, resolving all disputes, rest, relaxation, pleasure, buying property. So just kind of chilling out, that kind of a quality to Purva Falguni. And it's a gentler nakshatra than Parani for sure. God of delight, right? It's just about good life, basically. So then we look at Leo and we see how that gets activated. What houses can we expect to get activated? Well, Leo becomes the third house from the Lagna, which is Gemini, 10th house from the moon, and ninth house from Dasha. So the ninth and 10th are good. They're good, they're good houses. Third stage for him. for his Venus Dasha was from June 2000 till February 2007. What happened? He returned again to NBA as a player, part owner of Washington Wizards, right? He
Yeah.
filed for divorce. He got laid off as the president of Wizards. Founded Michael Jordan Motorsports, and then his marriage dissolved. So this is
Hmm.
filed for, it took 4 years for the marriage to finally dissolve, filed for divorce, the marriage dissolved. So this is just, kind of like it's closing chapters basically is what he's doing here. So from Leo, what's happening? From Leo, if you look at the seventh house, it becomes Aquarius. Seventh Lord is going to the sixth house with Ketu. So there could be some disturbance in the marriage. We know that, right? We know that. Um, 12th house looks difficult also here, right? Losses, 12th house of losses.
Hmm.
Um, Third house of entrepreneurial activities gets highlighted because that is what Leo is, and that he did do something new, right? He um
Yeah.
he he founded Michael Jordan Sports, and he also became a part owner of Washington Wizards. So those are
Yeah.
two new initiatives he took. So that's Leo getting activated, third house of entrepreneurial activities. Ninth house also got activated. Why did ninth house get activated? Because from Venus, which is the Dasha Lord, from there, Leo lands up in the ninth house.
Hmm.
So that's ninth house of Dharma. He's involved in charitable work, and he was doing things that made sort of kind of give a meaning to his life, purpose, right? Ninth house is purpose.
Right.
And then 10th house of public esteem and honor. I mean, he was still in the public domain. Um, Now, seventh Lord position looks difficult because it goes into the sixth with Ketu, which is not so easy, right?
Hmm.
11th Lord's position looks difficult because it goes into the sixth house also with Ketu. So we can say that the gains and the earnings obviously are not going to be as good as they were for the first two phases of Venus, right?
Yeah.
Because from Leo, the 11th Lord becomes Mercury landing here with Ketu, right? And just here, I mean, like Ketu's Mercury and Saturn, I mean, going here in the sixth from Leo, we know that there's some end of the career, right? 10th house is career.
Hmm.
So so that is the examination of Michael Jordan's chart, using this technique. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting how it's really divided in the phases and really gives all the all its fruits during the nakshatra related to those nakshatra.
Yeah,
So I think that this system can go a long way if
yeah,
used in the right way, and this technique is
right.
really I feel it's like a hidden gem
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
world of astrology and in the world of Jyotisha. This is still yet to come, and we
yeah.
still have to discuss a lot about these in open forums and
Right.
wherever possible. So this is
Because
fantastic.
we can go even more layers, we can break down the nakshatra and how, where does the nakshatra fall from his Janma star, and there's so many levels we can do this. But how I use it is just like it's just one more tool to analyze the result of dashas, right? And every time I look at a chart, I look at more than one dasha anyway. Like I don't just look at Vimshottari. I will look at Jara. I will look at Narayana. I'll look at Yogini. So I will look at others anyway. But this just gives like a deeper layer in the Vimshottari analysis, right? And by the way, you can, if you don't have to peel all of those layers. Even if you peel one or two layers, you can just see you can get in certain information, just like
Right.
kind of like flavor, like a theme of that phase in that person's life. And then of course you have to kind of like match it up with like maybe transit can give you a clue. Oh yeah, this is definitely going to happen, right?
Hmm.
Um, or in Yogini or in Jaradasha, it's also like, maybe in this eighth house and sixth house is getting activated. And then in the other dashas, it's Dushtana house. So we know we can confirm it. So we always have to see the confluence to see other dashas to see what else is. But I find it to be a really fantastic technique. And
Very much.
you know,
Very in-depth,
yeah,
precise, and it will never fail. The beauty
yeah,
is that this will always be applicable if you analyze it, if you peel it in very nicely, then it will show you what it has to show.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I find it fantastic. So I just, I wanted to come. I haven't talked about it on my own channel yet. And I remember I had done this presentation years ago. And I thought, you know what, this is something that I should talk about on
Yeah,
YouTube, you know. So
fantastic.
so yeah, you are welcome to, of course, post any questions. And either me or Gotham will address them. And
Absolutely.
it's my information here as well. Yeah. So
Great.
I will stop the share.
Awesome. So we are all set with this new technique of
Yes,
checking the Dasha using the Nakshatras, and its placement in the houses was a great technique. I hope every one of us has learned something new technique today. And I think the key is to learn and then practice. So
yeah,
what we are now going to do is, after this video, we are going back to our own charts. We'll open our own charts first because our practice starts
yeah,
from our own chart, right? We know the placements of nakshatra, the planets, the ascendants very easily. So we'll do that, and then we'll start with more practice with other charts. So
absolutely. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Hey,
thank you
thank you so much, Anahita. So nice to go through this fantastic topic in the world of Jyotisha. And of course, we'll discuss many more topics in the future. But guys, any questions, any comments, please, we'll be waiting for your comments in the comment section and we'll help you with any clarification you need. If you're stuck in anywhere, then we can help you with that. So thank you, and yeah, don't forget to hit the like button. In the description, there is Anahita's YouTube channel, Instagram channel too, and I hope everyone follow and learn more from her channel. So thank you so much for joining. Take care.
Thanks, Gautam.